So I was thinking a bit more about something we discussed yesterday. My cords are so tangled up, it's ridiculous. I don't understand this. It's just, how do things get so tangled up? It's like I can barely move the mouse. It's so entwined with the speakers, the microphone, the mouse, keyboard. Sorry, the keyboard. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's where I am at right now. Very low tech, as per usual. Something kind of sticks in my mind. Something we discussed recently a few times. Girls that really encountered him in a way that was not positive for them over decades spontaneously uttered, "Hugh Hefner is the devil." As I said yesterday, the last episode that I had seen of Playboy's Secret exposed the twins. You know, he basically molested these teenage girls. It's just disgusting. It's just, but what do you expect? Of course, you should have expected it. I mean, honestly. Yeah, but you're not going to blame kids that are just dumb. Dumb kids. Starstruck kids. He knew how to pick his victims. After they left his bedroom, they said, "Hugh Hefner is the devil." And they were not the only ones to say that. It's not as if anybody had told them, "I think Hugh Hefner is the devil." I mean, it came out of them like vomit. Hugh Hefner is the devil. So I'm just wondering, really, please don't dismiss me as a nutcase. You're interested in all sorts of supernatural kind of stuff, you know, like alien entities and stuff. But it does happen. It happens that people, for example, can become demon-possessed. Wasn't Jesus spending at least half of his time casting out demons as well as healing sicknesses? There's such a thing as demonic possession, and who's the chief of them? It would be, of course, Satan. Oh, it cringes me out. It really cringes me out. But now we have some answers. You see, maybe it's born being a spirit being and just not being able to enjoy the material world. You know, eating and drinking and, of course, sex. So for Satan, he's looking for somebody to inhabit, right? And I think Adolf Hitler's another person he might have inhabited. Why would he? It doesn't make any sense you would have this huge vendetta against the Jews. I think that was like the devil's phase where I just want to kill lots of people that would really, really float my boat. And then during the Hugh Hefner era, listen, we as Christians, please, most of us as Christians, understand you're supposed to invite Jesus into your heart. And Paul even says, "Christ lives in me. Christ in me, the hope of glory." There's an indwelling of Christ, of Jesus himself. How does that happen? I don't know. Some people claim to be born again and they don't act right and they're phonies, but most people that are doing really good works, it's something more than human that enables them to do that. I believe it's the Holy Spirit and Jesus. So, somebody could, conversely, rather than inviting Jesus into their heart, maybe they invite Satan into their heart. I hate to say that, but you've heard of people making a deal with the devil? It's horrible. Bible says, "By their fruits you shall know them." Jesus said, "A bad tree cannot bear good fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit. By their fruits you shall know them." Hugh Hefner bore a lot of fruits that were attractive to the world. Everybody thought, well, this is just terrific. He's got this beautiful playground with surrounded entirely by beautiful women, except that old secretary of this. To the world, that's very attractive. But when you hear the stories of the victims, you realize that his enjoyment and the other celebrities' enjoyment came at a very high cost to the women themselves. Some women might say, well, it was great. I didn't have any problem with it. I just love to sleep around. You know, I don't. There are always people like that. But you feel sorry for the ones that are being honest and saying, hey, I just wanted success. I just wanted fame and notoriety. I just want a little bit of money, okay? Don't blame me. Aren't we supposed to make something of ourselves in life? I remember having a discussion in college years ago, like, would you pose naked? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not ashamed of my body. The thing is, nobody wants to see that. No. I just, just some people have it, some people don't. I mean, you're going to like blame the people that have the perfect body or a very good body, and it's not right to expose yourself to total strangers, whether for money or not. But women are tempted to do it because the world says there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It makes you a liberated woman if you're going to be exposing yourself. Just look at some of these classical paintings of naked women. I don't want my kids to see naked people. I just cover up the private parts with olive leaves, please. Cover up the private parts, whether it's the Sistine Chapel or whatever. It's like, it's just yuck. You know, I don't know why I feel that way. I don't think I'm prudish. I'd rather not see ladies in bikinis either. I used to belong to a fitness club, and we're, you take your kids there to swim, and there's like women parading around in bikinis. I'm like, is that really appropriate? I mean, it's not only because I'm envious, which of course I am. I couldn't parade around in a bikini. People would just start laughing. Just, you have a nice body, but don't you think you ought to reserve it for that someone special, and the entire world doesn't need to see everything you have? And the same goes for men, like the Chippendales. Of course, I watched the Chippendales documentary that came out before. Wow, some people are just really lucky, physically. They have this Adonis-like look. And it's not something you come by easily. If you take enough steroids and have enough plastic surgery, whether you're a man or a woman, you can get that look of like a living god or goddess. Some people are just born with it. Aren't you so why should I be envious? I mean, envy won't help me. It just can't help me. And I'm not going to put people down and judge them and say, well, it was wrong for you to be a Chippendales. It's wrong for you to be a Playboy Playmate. No, I'd like to find a way to make money, but I've tried, actually. Everything's failed, so I've just kind of given up on the making money thing. So it reminds me of that Bible verse, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added to you. As Jesus said, God knows what you need. You're not supposed to worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, etc. God is taking care of you. You take care of God's business, and He'll take care of your business. And that does not mean that you can be irresponsible. I'm at the point where every day, oh God, help, because I just throw my hands up. Like, even keeping the house clean at this point, I wouldn't call it depression. I'm just calling it like, there has to be more to life than just cleaning the house. It's not that I'm old-fashioned or I'm not old-fashioned. It's not that I think it's wrong to be a housekeeper. if I were paid for it, it'd probably be more attractive. Like, I found it a lot easier sometimes to clean other people's houses than my own. Like, occasionally I would help a relative and clean things up. But my own house, I throw my hands up. I shouldn't be a defeatist. I know. I said this is thoughts, so it falls under a very, very, very broad umbrella indeed. My thoughts. Think of how much you're blessed, Erica. I mean, and you too are feeling sorry for yourself or feeling defeated. Think how much you're blessed. I'm able to look out my bedroom window. I see these cute little birds in the tree. They probably want me to give them some more bird seed. They're like, where is that woman? She's supposed to be giving us some bird seed. But they're so sweet. Aren't those little birds? Oh my gosh, I just love birds. Kissy, kissy, huggy. But the birds are happy not being in your care or custody. They would rather be free, right? So enjoy the fact that they're free and they're happy. They want you to help them, but they don't want you to just control them and like, I'm your owner. Don't you love me? They don't want to wake up every morning and just see you staring at them like, oh, nice little birdie, birdie. They love to be free, right? Human beings aren't that different from birds. So he really kept these women in a gilded cage. You've heard the old adage, a bird in a gilded cage. The most beautiful women in the world. I mean, if they weren't beautiful to begin with, he could arrange for the plastic surgery and the blondizing and all that. Oh, if I had all that stuff done to me, I suppose I could be like a Kardashian, you know. But I have only my own natural gifts. And then God says, you should go buy some Revlon. So I do in hair dye. Imagine if my hair is like gray now, but it looks bad. It looks so young. I look young with lots of artificial means. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I like makeup. I like hair dye. Oh my gosh. I like flattering clothing. I like high heels that make me look thinner. I can walk in high heels as long as they're not too thin. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you keep talking about yourself. We're getting back to the bird in the gilded cage. Yes. Some people would say, well, I don't feel sorry for you at all. Like, what do you expect? Like, the girl asked the blonde twins, like, didn't you know you're going to be having sex with him? No, not at all. People can lie to themselves. In their hearts, maybe they knew the truth, but they just kind of rejected it because there was so much luxury there in that house, so much fame and glory, a TV show, The Girls Next Door, which I never watched, of course. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. But you feel sorry for that beautiful bird. It wants to be let out of it. It's a beautiful golden cage, but it's a cage. It's a prison nonetheless. And that's what many of these playmates experienced living at that mansion. So when we're parents, we have children and we keep them with us to protect them until they're ready to be on their own. So it's a difficult thing to let a child go. I mean, I've never had to actually do that because they always just move in with their grandparents. So they're still protected. They're still babies. I, for one, would like to see one child actually go out into the world and, just throw themselves into God's hands and say, God, protect me, use me, whether they'd be in the military or a police officer. I mean, to me, that's brave. Sometimes I wish I would have joined the military. I think it would have made me a better person But now it's too late. I'm going to be 50.